Frozen Frenzy in the NHL. It's an exciting time. All 32 teams are in action. Well, in this game between the Devils and the Lightning, there was certainly a lot of action, but the result, I don't think it was what people wanted. We have a lot to break down in today's episode of Locked On Devils. Buckle up, everybody.
You're Locked On Devils, your daily podcast on the New Jersey Devils. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hi, this is Bryce Salvador, and you're Locked On Devils with Trey Matthews.
Scores! Oh, Stevens stepped up, nailed him. Brodor's got the puck. What a shot. The Devils win the Stanley Cup.
Alrighty now, what is up, New Jersey? Welcome back to the Locked On Devils podcast here at the Locked On Network. I'm your host, college hockey play announcer, Devils Writer of Pucks Pitchforks, and also part-time credentialed media member, Trey Matthews. The New Jersey Devils lost to the Tampa Bay Lightning by a score of 8-5. Back-to-back outings in which the Devils scored a decent amount of goals, but they let up a lot of goals in return. And basically, the joke I said is that it's a low-scoring football game. I don't really know what else to say. I need a drink after that game. That was UGLY. That was hard to watch for more reasons than one. I said it in the prior episode when I was previewing the matchup that I wanted the Devils to focus on a few areas, including protecting their goalie, defense, and keeping their scoring up. Because I said I've been impressed with the scoring capabilities from this roster. And I know I poked fun at the Lightning for losing their longtime captain, Steven Stamkos. And trust me, I'm not a Lightning's fan, but I do see the empty void when the Lightning are on the power play because I'm waiting for that one-timer shot from Stamkos, how they used to set him up. But in this game, the Lightning's power play didn't look half bad. In fact, they scored a couple on New Jersey. But the Lightning's offense is still lethal. Coming into this matchup, here's how they ranked in the NHL. Goals for, 3.6, 7th. Inner slot shots, 9.2, 1st. Rebound chances, 2.8, 2nd. High danger chances, 18.4, 3rd. Let's play some sound bites from Brenden Dillon and Sheldon Keefe as they reflected on this gut-punching loss at home yet again.
I'll be looking forward to the next game, and that's the nice thing about our league is we play again very quickly. But when goals are going in like this, when you're losing games, like it's got to eat you alive, and you got to be pissed off and be able to bring that into the next game.
What in your mind changed?
Puck went in the net too much.
Is there any reason? Is it the other night you said it was compete battle level? Was it something different tonight?
I thought they stressed us today. I thought when they had the puck, they made a ton of plays and really stressed us defensively. And frankly, we were really overwhelmed by that. So yeah, that would be part of it. We're on our half the ice too much, struggling in breakouts, just tired on our shifts, and then don't get saves either. So that's a bad combination.
In your opinion, after the hit on Brad, did that have anything to do with the game? It should have something happened after that hit.
No, it had nothing to do with the game. No, it has nothing to do with the game. I don't think that affected the reason why they scored so many goals. No.
You didn't pull Jake tonight. Is that just due to the workload ahead?
It's Marquis night off. You don't pull the backup goalie to put in the number one goalie cold. That would be silly.
Like I said, I am flabbergasted. I am lost for words. I said that I was looking at the glass half full when the Devils lost an OT to the Washington Capitals because, yes, they let up 6 goals, but they scored 5 themselves, which isn't bad, and they still got a point out of this. But in this matchup against Lightning, they lost in regulation. They get nothing out of it. And once again, they put on a very bad performance in front of their fans. That is unacceptable. In the first segment, I will reflect on my main takeaways heading into this matchup because the Devils only accomplished one of those three, and lo and behold, they faced a similar outcome like their game against the Capitals. Surprise, surprise, just like I alluded to. Then in the second segment, a lot of events happened in this game. Brandon Hagel got a natural hat trick in the second period, but trust me, when I go into more detail, it gets worse. Jesper Brack took a big hit from Eric Chernak, and nobody came to his defense. The Devils had good offensive production. I want to share some of those performances, and I don't want people to overlook it, but kind of hard when you put up this sort of effort at home. And then in the third and final segment, like I do with every post-game recap, I will compare the stats and give the Devils a letter grade. All right. If you missed yesterday's episode, my main takeaways going into this matchup was protect the goalie. I might be alone in all this, but at least early on, Jake Allen was keeping the Devils in the game. At the conclusion of the first period, the score was not up one apiece, but it easily could have been 4-1 Lightning. But once again, Allen was standing tall in between the pipes. But as the game progressed, as the Devils got unlucky, as the defense got softer, you just saw the onslaught of goals from the Lightning. And I think that really shook up Allen's confidence. And trust me, I've only scratched the surface. If you know, you know. But going back to Jake Allen, I don't think this loss is on him. And I know people like to finger point at the goalie for this type of loss. But like I've been saying the past few episodes, I don't think these types of outcomes are on the Devils goalies. I think Jacob Markstrom and Jake Allen have been somewhat solid for New Jersey. And this is what I said during the offseason. This is what I said in my interview with Chico Resch is like, if you do not have solid defense, it will negate good goaltending. We saw a little bit of this from Jake Allen late in the season last year, where Jake Allen would have a good performance, but the defense in front of him was little to no help. And as a result, the Devils would lose the game. I was present for one of those outings when the Devils took on the Vegas Golden Knights in a matinee matchup on St. Paddy's Day. The Devils have to do a better job of protecting their goalie. Defense. There were some positive things. I think Jonas Siegenthaler was good early on. Daniel Misule, he was impressing me. I said, just be solid and eat up a decent amount of minutes so that way it's not an issue for Sheldon Keefe to shorten up his bench. Misule actually did have a block that led to a Jack Hughes goal. So once again, I wanted to give credit where credit is due. That's my only compliment. The defense failed Jake Allen. The Devils have to do a better job of clearing the puck and going on the offensive attack. Because when the Devils are on the offensive attack, they actually do get some decent looks. Case in point, 5 goals should be enough to win a game. But the fact that you let up 8 goals, it should show like your execution is very flawed, and it starts with clearing the puck so that way you can take it down to the other side of the rink and establish some more ozone time. That's one of the biggest issues I've been noticing from New Jersey. And I think it was evident when the Devils were on the PK. The third and final takeaway is that at least I can say that the Devils' scoring is good. 5 goals, like I just said, that should be enough to win a game. That's my only compliment when it comes to New Jersey in this outing. I'd say some players had a pretty good start, but if you're not cohesive, it's not really going to give you the result that you want. All right, there's a lot more that I need to break down, but before we continue, let me tell you guys about Game Time in case you want to see the Devils up close and personal in the near future. I've actually used Game Time before to purchase myself some NBA and MLB tickets. Game Time Picks. Curation makes it easier to save more on sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. All-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows a total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. Seat views, get a good view from your seat in the app before you buy. The lowest price guarantee or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Game Time ticket coverage, your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in ticketing industry. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time, ladies and gentlemen, unless you're the Devils in this game. All right. I want to break down the game even further because a lot happened in this matchup. Some good, but a whole lot of bad. I figured let's get the negativity out the way and segue into something more positive. Eric Chernak had a big hit on Jesper Bratt early, and nobody came to Jesper Bratt's defense. And this was actually talked about on the MSG broadcast. I believe Bryce Salvador was highlighting the fact that if you don't do something about it, then you're sending a message that you can go after the Devils' star players with no repercussion. That was the biggest issue last season, which is this Devils team was quote unquote too soft. Now, some people on social media were saying like that was a turning point in the game, and that's when the Lightning started to put their foot on the gas pedal. I think people are reading a little too far into that. Now, I can't lie. That what happened with Jesper Bratt is unacceptable. Someone should have come to his defense. There's a reason why the Devils signed players like Paul Cotter, Brenden Dillon, Stefan Nason. To quote Jersey Joe, you added more Sasquatches on this roster to make yourself a tougher team. I don't think that was the biggest turning point in the game. I think that's pure coincidental just because, like I said in the first segment, this game reminded me of the last matchup against Washington Capitals, in which the Devils scored a decent amount of goals, but they surrendered a lot of goals in return. I don't think it's a physicality thing. I think it's just an execution thing. But the Chernak thing on Jesper Bratt, unacceptable. Devils should know better. Someone should have dropped the mitts and come to Jesper Bratt's defense because Bratt is one of the star players on this roster. Brandon Hagel's natural hat trick in the second period. Okay, we've seen it before where a player gets a hat trick early on in the game. But all three of Hagel's goals occurred in the second period. And to make matters worse, the Lightning tied the game to a pop thanks to Victor Hedman, and then they would end up leading 5-2. Where did those three goals come from? It came from Hagel. It was pitiful. And the fact that Hagel had a hat trick in the second period when there was a decent amount of time remaining and he scored 3 straight goals by himself, how do you allow that to happen? Jake Gensel's power play goal that made it a 7-4 game and basically took the momentum away from New Jersey. I need to talk about that real quick because Dawson Mercer was sent to the penalty box for goalie interference. But when looking at the replay, I'm just like, what was Dawson Mercer supposed to do? Because Victor Hedman is basically all up on him. He has nowhere to go. And where Hedman is leading him to is Johansson. And yes, he lands on Johansson, but where else is he supposed to go? I don't think that's goalie interference. I think the NHL got that wrong. When it comes to goalie interference, it seems like the line is so blurry, if that makes sense. I completely disagreed with that call. But at the same time, the Devils put themselves into that situation, so you can't really blame that particular call as the reason why they lost because they were already trailing and they shouldn't have allowed that many goals to begin with. But it did sort of kill any momentum that they had because they scored 2 unanswered goals to begin that period. And Jake Guentzel, right off the faceoff, was able to get a power play goal and solidify it for the Lightning, if you would. And then I think the biggest thing, which I couldn't help but laugh, was J.J. Moser's shorthanded goal that gave the Lightning an 8-4 lead. Why couldn't I have helped but laugh at that situation? Well, it was by complete accident, if you ask me, because I think Moser was trying to rim the puck around the boards. And as a result, Jake Allen came out of his crease to play the puck, but the net was wide open. And I guess Moser hit it a little too hard and it just bounced right on in. Allen had no chance of making the save. He completely lost it. At first, I thought it was just an own goal because Shimo Nemitz was sort of in the way of the puck. I thought it ricocheted off him, and the Devils surrendered an own goal. But I looked at the replay, and I was like, nope, Moser angled it off the boards, and Allen was preparing to play the puck on the wall and slow it down so that way he could give it back to his team and they could go back on the power play attack. I don't even know what to say about that. I was completely stunned. How does Murphy's Law go again? Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. That's exactly what happened in this matchup for New Jersey. Okay, that's what went wrong for New Jersey, but what went right for them? Jack Hughes finally had a big outing. He walked away with 3 points. He had a goal and 2 assists, and his goal was on an open breakaway. So I think that can definitely open up the floodgates for Jack Hughes because coming into this matchup, according to Daniel Moya of the Hockey Writers, Hughes' slow start was confirmed by his expected goal stats. He had 1.2 expected goals in 8 games, which was 192nd in the entire league. Not good from Hughes, but once again, he walked away with 3 points. Andre Palat got his first point this season. He got the secondary assist on Jack Hughes' goal. And similar to what I said in the prior episode, playing Andre Palat alongside Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt, it was Sheldon Keefe's way of trying to get Andre Palat going. He's going up against his former team. Hopefully that can move Andre Palat in the right direction. But like I said, he's not a scorer. I just want him to play solid defense, if you would, because Hughes and Bratt will focus more on offense. Timo was on hat-trick watch. He had 2 goals. Bastian had a goal, his second one this season. Nason had a goal. Nemitz got his first point. Curtis Lazar got his first assist. Dougie is now on a 3-game point streak. You tell me what that means. The Devils can have this type of offensive production, yet nobody is going to be talking about that for the next few days just because of these back-to-back piss-poor performances. But here's the thing. It's still early on in the season, and patience is going to be the key for New Jersey. All right. I will compare stats, give the Devils a letter grade. But before we continue, let me tell you guys about FanDuel. Hey, NFL fans, you can start the season with a big return on FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. So when you get a hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. You'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Look at FanDuel.com to see the odds, and please remember to always gamble responsibly. And now let me tell you guys about Prize Picks to make this night even worse. Despite my Los Angeles Lakers coming out victorious, my Prize Picks selections did not hit. But let me tell you about Prize Picks because I do enjoy it. You can now win up to 100 times your money on Prize Picks with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks is the best way to get in on the sports action in over 30 states, including California, Florida, Georgia, and Texas. Prize Picks is the only real money daily fantasy platform with an injury insurance policy, so your lineups can stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. If your player leaves in the first half and doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts like Taco Tuesday each Tuesday. Prize Picks discounts select player projections up to 25% to provide even more value for your lineups. Download the app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNHL to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the app, Use the code LOCKEDONNHL and get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. Okay, let me give you guys some more optimism. What did I say going into this season? I said that I anticipated for the Devils to get off to somewhat of a slow start, just because it's a completely different team compared to last year. They got to try to factor in everybody. Sheldon Keefe is at the helm of it. Different system, different coach. It's going to take some time before the Devils get off and running. And yes, they have already picked up a few big wins, which is why they have 11 points, one of the best in the NHL, albeit the Devils have played in more games. But that's something I don't want you to overlook as well. The Devils will be just fine, in my opinion. And looking at it, half full and not a half empty glass, I will just say the fact that the Devils can fight back in some way, shape, or form, I think is the biggest difference compared to last season. Because the Devils actually got off to a pretty decent start to the third period, thanks to Nathan Bastian and Timo Meier. Similar to what I said in the second segment, the Devils had some decent momentum entering the third period. They scored 2 unanswered goals thanks to Nathan Bastian and Timo Meier, but that Dawson Mercer goalie interference call, complete BS, basically killed any chance that the Devils had, and Jake Gensel put the game to rest. And then JJ Moser, he had that weird angle goal that resulted in Jake Allen not finding the puck. It was just a complete mess. This Devils team is going to have to crawl before they walk. And I think sooner rather than later, they will start to rack up a decent winning streak. We'll see what happens. I'm not freaking out because it's October. If they were doing this in January or February, then yes, I think that raises decent cause for concern. But we haven't even played a month of the NHL season. So I'm going to take it just a tad bit easy on them, but I'll give them a letter grade momentarily. All right. Shots on goal differential, 37-35 in favor of Tampa. Power plays, Devils were 2 for 3 on their power plays. Lightning were 2 for 2. Hits, 23-13 in favor of New Jersey. Giveaways, 13-9 in favor of New Jersey. Takeaways, 5-4 in favor of New Jersey. Block shots, 20-9 in favor of the Lightning. Time spent in the penalty box, 8-6 in favor of Tampa Bay. All right. If this was January or February, I would have no choice but to give the Devils an F because they made the same mistake twice in a row. But in this case, I will give them a passing grade. I will give them a D. What's saving them from a D- or a failing grade is just the fact that we're still early in the season. And I'm sure they're trying to work out the kinks. Maybe I'm being a little generous, but let's be patient with this Devils team. Let's let them crawl before they walk, and let's see how they answer back a few days later against the Detroit Red Wings. Let me know what you guys thought of this game. For me, it was torturous to watch. If I didn't have to cover it, I would have turned it off after the second period. And if you ended up leaving the game early or turning it off on your TV set, I don't really blame you. Leave a comment down below if you're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on podcast streaming service, hit me up on my personal X Page app at TreyMatt4 or the show's X Page app at Locked On Devils. As for today's episode, that's all the time I have for you. Continue to stay safe. Have a wonderful day in New Jersey. Go Devils. I'll catch you guys next episode. Thanks for listening once again.